Hello everyone, and welcome to a deck profile video. Today we have the set 1 leader, the yellow set 1 leader, Frieza, Golden Frieza. And this is a leader that has been a quite a force in the format as of lately. With all the other red decks that are in the meta right now, like Sin Shenron and Gogeta, Golden Frieza is a yellow deck that actually has a much easier time than before controlling those red decks. Much crit pressure. So this is the deck profile video. This is the same deck I was using in actually one of my videos. I had a lot of you guys who commented saying you want to see a deck list for this. So here I am showing you a deck list for the same exact Golden Frieza deck I used in that video. And this was a list, this is a version 1 of the list, I guess you can say, like a version 1.0 of the list I used at locals. Our locals are a best of 1 locals, where we can side before the match has begun. So there's a few cards that I've recently acquired that I would definitely put into this deck, but for the time being aren't in this deck. So that's why I'm calling it sort of like a version 1.0. But we have pretty standard if we start off for Frieza's call. I think every single Golden Frieza list has the standard 4 Frieza calls with the Frieza henchmen, 4 Ginyus and 4 Tagomas. And it's super standard. What these cards do is they're basically cantrips that let you get your leader effect. So Golden Frieza, if you don't know, says you place one of your Frieza army battle cards in the drop, untap an energy, and draw one. And on the awakened side, you place one of your Frieza army battle cards in the drop, and you untap 2 and draw 1. So Robotic Riposte still a staple in the meta. In this case, we have 4 Robotic Riposte. Can't go less than 4 for a deck like this. Why? Because on defense, it's a Floodgate. On offense, it's a 15k swing, and it's basically an untap for your leader, so it serves multiple purposes over here. Right. So we definitely got to have Robotic Riposte. As for the super combos, we are playing 4 Krillin super combos. Pretty standard. Once in a while, you'll see. As of lately, you haven't really seen people running the Gohan Piccolo super combo. You still can. It's still one of the best yellow secret rares out there. But we are using a different secret rare for this deck. So for the time being, we're using the best super combo available in this version, which would be the Krillin. Here come the Unisons. Pretty standard package. Most people are running this package right now. We have the 3 Higher Dragons over here, and we have 3 Son Gohan Z Fighters. Most people, they run 4 of the Higher Dragons, and they run 4 of the Son Gohan Z Fighters. I think that's a really good idea. I think 4 is fantastic. You really want to see your curve. You really want to see your Unisons on turn. The reason I run 3 is because I hate dead drawing into Unisons. For example, if I have a Higher Dragon on board, and I have multiple copies in my hand, it just feels bad, right? Son Gohan Z Fighter, such an amazing card. Empower Yellow 3 has a +1 to draw a card, and then a -3 where you choose your leader, and you can choose this card. This card will gain 5k power and triple attack, and your leader will gain 5k power until the end of your opponent's next turn. So it'll be in your leader, and the best part is literally just playing this down, using the -3 effect, swinging 3 times with it, using your leader effect to KO a Frieza army from before, and then just tapping that 3 energy again to go into another one, and doing that -3 all over again. Next, we have the extra card packages over here, so we're going to quickly go over that. Obviously, you have your Frieza army reinforcements. In this case, we're running 3. You could run 4, but really 3 is fine. We have 2 Realm of the Gods Black Kamehameha, pretty standard. And we have 1 Vegeta's Final Flash, 1 Time Magic, 1 Release from Evil. Obviously, you have to have the Cold Bloodlust. It's limited to 1. And we have a new extra card, which I don't see a lot of people running. That is the Planet Vegeta over here. So, pretty standard. You can make reasons for all these extra cards. Realm of the Gods you need. It's great against Whiteboard. Excellent against Sin. Excellent against SS4 Gogeta. Frieza Army is necessary. You get down from 5 to 4. Helps you protect against big swings. I feel as if Final Flash is a really strong card this set. You're able to really negate a lot of these effects. If someone is going for a game with their Sin, you're able to just negate that triple strike, and your opponent has to respect it. Even if you have 1 Final Flash, if you put that Final Flash in your energy, right, your opponent's always going to be thinking about it. Something that's always going to be on the back of their mind, right? We Also need to have the time magic. There's a lot more dual attackers in this meta, so this card is fantastic for stopping dual attackers. Release from Evil. If you're running Unisons, you have to run this card. Release from Evil is such a staple in this format. It hits any card including Unisons. It hits any card including leaders. So it's fantastic. Very helpful in like the Gamma matchup. So when your opponent misplays, swings with Gamma, you hit him with the Release from Evil. Same with the 21 matchup. If your opponent misplays, they swing with their new 21 and you hit them with Release from Evil, right? That 21 leader will lose their skills. So very, very strong against blue decks. Also very strong against the mirror match in the yellow deck. So if they swing with their Golden Frieza leader, they have it untapped, you can negate their skills. It's just a very good card overall, and also stops dual attackers, triple attackers as well, right? We have the Cold Bloodlust. It's a staple. If you're running a Frieza army leader, you need to have blood, and it's yellow, you need to have Bloodlust. Just negates anything for the duration of the turn. This card is limited to 1 for a reason. We want to run it. We have Planet Vegeta. This is a new card a lot of people don't run. It's not a new card. I'm saying it's a new tech a lot of people don't run, but I like it for a number of reasons. We'll go into it a little bit later, but it helps me set up plays for later on. So we'll take a look at some of the cards it helps me set up. Obviously, we have the other secret rare, the Power of a Super Saiyan over here. Need to also have that as well. It's a negate, it's an activate battle, it taps. Like I said, it's limited for a reason. We want to use those cards, right? Going into the Planet Vegeta, we're just going to skip this really quick. So here we have the Self-Awakeners. Obviously, we have the Roshi. You need to have the Roshi. And here's one of the Self-Awakener we have. We have Trunks from the future. So Roshi basically says you play him, you get to add a life, you have an activate main, you tap an energy, and you get to add another life. During games when your opponent is stalling you out and you don't have the Roshi, it could be a little bit tough because Vegeta, the Z Battle card, can only take 1 life. You do have the option of Trunks, and this is basically a card that says add 1 card from life to hand. When it attacks, it gains 11k power, and at the end of the turn, this leader will restand. So now you can actually use it for next turn to take another life, or even better, use it for Z energy, because you really don't want to be comboing your Frieza army cards to generate Z energy, but this deck needs Z energy for sure. And the reason why I run this card is because it's searchable off the Planet Vegeta. So turn 1, you need a Self-Awakener, you just hit him with Planet Vegeta and look for the Trunks, and you're set up for that. Right? Brand new card from set 20 is the 8-drop Vegeta. Only 3 Vegeta. Yes, you can make an argument for 4, but since you have Robotic Riposte, and it feels more natural for the deck, you really don't need to play a full playset of this. We need Z energy for this card. This is the floodgate that basically says your opponent can't swing with non-leader cards unless they rest something. Also, and sometimes your opponent will forget, if you have a Z battle card or a Z leader in play, it'll give your leader a permanent that negates your opponent's strike skills. So we actually do that quite a bit. This card is also a blocker. It's a 15k body, and its cost is reduced to 1. This card is absolutely amazing. It's one of the reasons why Golden Frieza is dominating the meta, because Robotic Riposte is hard enough to play around. This just makes it even worse. And this is fantastic because unlike Robotic Riposte, it's a counterplay. So you can use it against the red matchup. For example, if your opponent hits you with a Broly Crown, you're able to tap 1 energy and play this card so you can overcome that Broly Crown's effect and floodgate them at the same time and get a 15k blocker. Fantastic. This is a one-of. I was testing this out. This card never really came up for me. You know, obviously, if it's a free card, we definitely want to try to use it and abuse it. And this Vegeta comes out for free and rests anything, you know, just puts it straight into rest mode as it enters play, as long as you have a unison with 2 or more markers. Do note that once you do activate this counterplay, you cannot activate counterplays for the turn. That includes this Vegeta. So you don't want to do it after you have Vegeta, or you don't want to do it if you're tapped out. Once again, one of the reasons why I'm testing this out and running it, it's a card you can add off of Planet Vegeta. So you can Planet Vegeta, use it to add this if you have a higher Dragon or Unison. That way if you're playing against Sin or something like that and they play a 4-drop, you can just go ahead and Vegeta it even though you're tapped out, right? So I think it's a good card on paper. Now it hasn't really translated to success playing wise, and if I had to cut a card, this would be the first card I would cut. So for now it hasn't really seen much play, but it's definitely here, definitely testing it, and on paper it makes a lot of sense, right? And it's a one-off, you know. So if we see it, we see it, and Golden Frieza does filter a lot. Here we have to have the Swift Retaliation Cooler. Cooler is still a fantastic card. If yellow as a color gets hit, both me and my friend agree this would be the first card to get hit. It's a 3 energy counter, a 15k body, and a card that draws 1 if you have less than 6 cards in rest mode. If you have 6 or more, draws 2. Card is fantastic. Can stop Baby Hatch, can stop Dormant Potential, can stop your opponent from floodgating. And in a leader that is able to easily untap 2 energy, Cooler is basically 1 energy. So you're basically countering your opponent, drawing a card, playing a body, and then using your leader to untap 2 energy. You know, you can immediately see the most direct lines of play with that. It's absolutely fantastic. Let's take a look at our boss monsters, right? We have 2 5-drop Friezas, Divine Transformation, and here we have the new SR, the new Super Saiyan 3 Son Goku universe at stake. Frieza is a pretty good staple, fantastic against blue decks. It's almost impossible for blue to remove this. The second boss monster we have is SS3 Son Goku. I absolutely love this card. I think this card is just a staple in Golden Frieza. It's an 8-drop with Deflect, which is amazing. We love Deflect. And it has an effect when it attacks. You can either KO one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier. Sorry, you can KO any of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, or you can choose one of your opponent's cards, ignoring barrier, and switch it to rest mode. Notice how it says opponent's cards. That includes their energy. So in the mirror match, if you are playing against the Golden Frieza, your SS3 Son Goku is vital to tapping down their energy so you can eventually kill them. This card comes out for 2 energy if you have a Z battle card or a Z leader in play. Luckily, we play a lot of Z battle cards, so this card is live quite a bit. Second effect is a limit 1. If all cards in your battle area are in rest mode, switch this card to active mode. So basically, you can actually switch it to active mode, get another instance of its auto when it attacks, because it's not limit 1. So now you're able to tap another energy, tap a blocker, or just KO something in rest mode. For a deck like Golden Frieza that cycles quite a bit, playing a boss monster that also draws 1 is just even better. And having that Planet Vegeta there is really good, because against the mirror match or against other yellow decks, right? Because Trunks Vegeta is still a big force in this meta. We still have Ape-Ku, we still have other Golden Frieza, we still have yellow decks here, right? So against other yellow decks, we can tap our Planet Vegeta as a cost to swing with our battle cards to go through their Vegeta or to go through their Robotic Riposte. And since all cards in your battle area are in rest mode, now this Goku can restand, right? It's fantastic. And worst case scenario, if Planet Vegeta is slowing you down, you can side it out. This Goku is still going to be good. He just won't replace himself, which is fine because he's already performing overtime. He's already tapping something, KOing something, 30k swing. It's a fantastic card. I can't speak enough for this 30k Goku. I think this card is a staple in Golden Frieza and honestly a staple going forward for most yellow decks. It's fantastic. We're just running a 1-of Meta Cooler Negate over here. I was testing it out because I do lean heavily into the Z Battle cards for my Golden Frieza deck. So if there ever comes a moment where I'm tapped out, or if there ever comes a moment where I'm not able to floodgate properly because my opponent counterplays, I want to have a negate for those big swings. And Meta Cooler is a free negate that says if my leader is mono yellow, I can use it for free and negate the attack and play him, as long as I have a Z leader or a Z battle card in play. Also as a permanent, Bond 2, this guy gains barrier and 5k power. Super cool. Worst case scenario, right? He's a swing. Worst case scenario, it's Z energy. Really cool card. I'm really utilizing it, and it has come up quite a bit, so I like it. Overall, we need to have Secret Identity Mass Saiyan. And of course, we have our Secret Rare as well. Golden Cooler is the newest Secret Rare from this set, and this card has just been amazing. Overperformed every single game I've played it in. You know, Golden Frieza has a hard time killing, and Golden Cooler basically says, I will take care of that for you. And playing Golden Frieza, tapping 5 energy and untapping 2, you just feel so safe, right? It basically says that, look, even if I tap 5 for this guy, I'm not really tapped out. I can still Psycho Frieza Army to untap 2 energy for this. And Golden Cooler just takes your opponent's hand down to 5 and keeps swinging. It's a blocker, double striker. The only negative thing about this card, right, is that it doesn't have Deflect. You have to be careful of the Bloodlust in the mirror match. Have to be careful of Death Blaster. Have to be careful of a lot of, counterplays. But to be honest with you, it still doesn't matter, And Secret Identity is one of the newest cards to come off the ban list. Don't know why they unbanned it. This card is extremely powerful, especially for a deck like Golden Frieza that can struggle a little bit in removal. Secret Identity is just the godsend card we needed to able to help us get rid of these wide boards. Card is absolutely fantastic. Let's take a quick look at the Z deck now. I did hype up my Z deck quite a bit. It's pretty standard. We have the Vegeta. We need to have the Vegeta. Self-Awakening is important. This deck doesn't really function unless you have 4 life. The reason for that is because you have the untapped 1 on the unawakened side. You need untapped 2 on your awakened side. That's how you can extend it to more plays. You also draw on swing. So now you're drawing even more cards in addition to your activate main. Here we have 2 SSB Son Goku Evolved Defender. This card has been fantastic. Another card that has overperformed. It's basically a barrier deflect, 25k body. Takes 2 Z energy and 3 energy. You can choose your opponent's leader on play, and it can't swing. Also, if this card is in rest mode, by giving up a Z energy, you can choose any of your opponent's battle cards or unisons and switch them to rest mode. So when your opponent plays a battle card or unison, you don't even have to choose that battle card or unison. It could be another battle card that's already on board. So the opponent really has to play around this card. This card is absolutely fantastic. Also very strong against blue decks. We have the brand new promo, SS3 Vegeta, Terrifying Agent of Destruction. Wide boards has been a problem for Frieza in the past, and cards like this just make it so much easier. 20k, dual attack. When it's played, you choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and KO it. Doesn't specify it has to be in rest mode. Doesn't specify any power. Doesn't specify energy cost. It just says tap 3, KO anything ignoring barrier. I mean, this card is a 2-of. It's incredible. Also overperformed quite a bit. And in Golden Frieza, if it costs 3 energy, you have a Frieza army. It's only going to cost 1 because you're going to untap 2 on your awakened side. You have the one Oolong. Oolong is still necessary. It's basically a 1 energy lethal swing. And the great thing about Oolong is it's 1 energy, 2 Z battle card. So you always have some sort of swing when you're going for game, right? It's still a necessary card we need to play. And of course, the brand new card we have is Hercule. This card is also amazing. Has overperformed. This card is able to rest things in our battle area. So that's how we're able to really trigger our SS3 Son Goku universe at stake. Because Hercule is a 1-drop, 1 Z energy, it's very easy to play. It's also got barrier. So because it has barrier, this means that it's going to be able to stick on board longer. So now we can use our SS3 Son Goku. This Hercule also helps stick on board because we want that additional full value from the Meta Cooler. So let's take a look at that. This Hercule also helps set this Meta Cooler because now it's a free negate since we meet the condition of having a Z battle card. And there's just a bunch of other things it helps us with. Now that we have the Hercule, we can play the SS3 Son Goku for 2 Z energy, right? Sorry, for 2 energy. If leader's a yellow Z leader or even a yellow Z battle card in play, which we meet. So Hercule fills a lot of these roles. It's definitely a needed card. Definitely would recommend it. The only reason I would recommend it over the Oolong is because it has barrier. If your opponent sees Oolong, they're going to get rid of it. Hercule, not so much. This is the Z deck over here. Definitely the new cards have really helped this deck out quite a bit from set 20, right? And because my locals is a best of 1 pre-side, I will show you the 15 cards that I have sided over here. Now, just a quick note, some of these side deck cards aren't really optimal, and some of these I'd rather main deck. But because the locals I go to is best of 1 pre-side, we are running these as side cards, right? So we have 2 Smoke Dragons for unisons, for barrier removal, for draw power. Son Gohan and Videl Power Duo. This card is a main deck card. If you're playing against a good opponent and he sees Golden Frieza, the first thing he's siding into are those silver bullets. If you're a Golden Frieza player, if you've played against Golden Frieza, you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Borgos, the 1 energy Borgos that says if you untap, they kill an energy. Talking about the Raditz, talking about the Kami, talking about those cards, right? So we need the Son Gohan and Videl Power Duo to combat those cards, right? Basically says for 1 yellow energy, choose 2 of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier. They get 5k power for the duration of the turn, and you draw a card. card is amazing. Like I said, it would be in my main deck. The other thing is you can actually add these guys with the Planet Vegeta field card. So Planet Vegeta specifies choose one Saiyan, up to one Saiyan, energy cost of 4 or less from your deck. Does not specify color, which means that you can choose Son Gohan and Videl because they are a Saiyan. So against your opponent, if you're in a tough spot because they have their silver bullets and you're not able to see your Son Gohan and Videl, Planet Vegeta will find Son Gohan and Videl power couple for you. Another reason why I really like the the Planet Vegeta. Here we have some extra cards in the side. So we side these extra cards depending on certain matchups. So Release from Evil against decks like Gamma, other yellow decks, blue decks as well, like Trunks Reboot, for example. We want to side into Release from Evil because our opponent's leaders get too much value on swing, get too much value from their activate main. So you want to punish that. Also really good against the mirror match because when we're playing against another Golden Frieza and they're playing SS3 Gohan on us, we want to be able to use Release from Evil so it can't get the full value from his triple strike, from his triple attack. We have a Nimbus just for the aggro matchups against Sin Shenron, SS4. Flying Nimbus is a hard negate, which is good because sometimes they'll swing with a triple striker, right? And Forbidden Power doesn't get there while Nimbus will. Another Time Magic, another way to take life. Also good against dual attackers and triple attackers and things like that. Definitely want the Time Magic because it is a extra card in the staple. So Vegeta's Final Flash, same reason I gave before. I think this card is very necessary in the meta. I'm running one extra one because there could be some decks that have annoying effects. For example, let's say your opponent leaves their barrier card in active mode. You can find a flash and tap it with Power of a Super Saiyan. I think it's very, very strong. I think it's necessary. And we have another one just in case. Also good against the 21. If they swing the 8 drops 21 swings, you could either release it or Final Flash it. Necessary. Trunks the Cunning. We need this for 21. It's also helpful against blue decks. If your opponent is playing beyond the Ultimate Gohan, sometimes you'll be able to release from Evil, right? The Gohan, but let's say, for example, you don't have a Unison, because when Gohan comes out, it bounces the Unison. So you need some way to stop that Gohan. Time Magic is great. Final Flash is also great as well. Trunks the Cunning basically says to Ultimate Gohan, you cannot restand, your opponent cannot restand their blue energy on offense. So we play Trunks the Cunning. Also searchable off Planet Vegeta. Right? Planet Vegeta's coming clutch once again, right? Speaking of Planet Vegeta, you can also search off your Dark Power Black Mass Saiyan, because it is a Saiyan card. This card is great for the mirror match, great against 21. If they decide to go with the token, so play the 1 drop that plays a token, or play the 4 drop that plays a token, at the end of the turn, before the token is played, we'll tap 1 for a BMS, and they're forced to warp 2 cards from their hand. Also good against the mirror, right? So if your opponent has Frieza's Call and they don't have a Frieza army, in order for them to resolve Frieza's Call, they have to warp 2 cards from their hand. So BMS is very, very important. We have 1 copy of Death Blaster and 1 copy of Tyrannical Blow. You ideally should be maining 1 copy of Tyrannical Blow, and you should be siding 2 copy of Tyrannical Blow. I think this card is fantastic. You could even take out 1 Release from Evil, 1 Vegeta's Final Flash for Tyrannical Blow. Gamma is a huge problem with their floodgates in this meta. Android 14 is a floodgate. TP17 is a floodgate. Gohan Superhero is a floodgate. In such a heavy floodgate meta, right? Play against another Golden Frieza, they hit you with Vegeta, they hit you with Robotic Riposte. And you also need it against 21 for their 2 drop. Playing in such a huge floodgate meta, and such a meta like this, you need Tyrannical Blow. So I have Death Blaster because I don't have another Tyrannical Blow. My brother is using it, so I would borrow it from him if he wasn't using it. But this is my side deck. So as you guys can see, version 1 over here, right? For my side deck, for my Z deck, for my main deck. Guys, please let me know what you guys think. I know you guys were asking for this Golden Frieza list, so here it is. Main list we have, Z list we have, side deck we have most of this information over here, right? Please leave any feedback, any comments, anything you guys leave. I always try to follow it. I always try to listen. You guys asked for this deck profile video, I gave it to you. If you guys want to see some more Golden Frieza gameplay, let me know. It'll come on the channel. I definitely want to do a lot more Dragon Ball on the channel. Dragon Ball has always been my primary TCG, and I love Dragon Ball. I think the game is honestly amazing. And I definitely want to play more Dragon Ball for you guys. So please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys want to see next. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for all your support so far. You guys requested this video, so that's why I'm doing it. And if you guys request more videos, I'm definitely going to be doing more videos. So thank you guys so much. Shout out to you guys. You guys are awesome. Keep up the support, and we'll see you next time. Peace.